Guys, there are spoilers for this film in this review, so if you don't want to be the victim of a heist, go watch the film, then come back. You have been warned. Hey guys, welcome back to another week of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Runtime HD. So yeah, this is going to be a great time. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Runtime HD, and this week we watched Crime 101, starring Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, Mark Ruffalo, and Barry Keoghan. It is a new action crime thriller. And I will say I really enjoyed it. I think it was a very enjoyable, heist movie. I'm a bit of a heist movie guy. I guess I just like crime movies. There's a lot of them. But I think this film was definitely very, very, different from the usual crime films that I watch. But before I go tangent, why I liked this film, I'll tell you why and more back at the house.
My dad always said you gotta break a few eggs.
I see you again in a day.
Get down! Every series of actions creates a pattern.
It's not about the money.
What is it about?
I'm getting close. I know it.
Hello, James.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Ticket Tuesday. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week we watched Crime 101, based on the novella of the same name. It is an action crime thriller starring Chris Hemsworth, Halle Berry, Mark Ruffalo, and Barry Keoghan. This film, I'm just going to jump straight into it. I think this film, if you haven't noticed already, I'm watching a lot of crime movies recently, right? I guess I'm on a crime movie binge, maybe unintentionally. I'm just keep watching all these crime movies. So obviously, I guess that I've seen a lot of crime movies. I guess I'm going to kind of compare them, maybe not compare them directly, but I'm just going to, I guess, say a lot of them are similar in their own ways and different. I think, though, where this film shines is mainly in some of, the technical aspects. I think the acting was very good. I think the transitions especially were probably one of my personal highlights, because the way the scenes would, transition from one another, seamlessly, how they would kind of, link. But they wouldn't, I don't know, there would be, so a character would be, walking down the street, right? And then there would be, a TV screen talking, on a news broadcast. And then the camera would zoom into the TV, and then it would cut to where the broadcast was, but it was, in front of a building. I guess it's kind of, it's cool, right? I like the little transitions. There's, other different things like that, that I think were very nice, and a nice little addition, a nice little touch that added a little aesthetic tinge. I also think that there were some interesting shots in there, while some of them I think were a little too experimental. There was this shot that they kept using where there was a skyline and there was a highway, and they were slowly turning it upside down. That's giving me major whiplash. I personally did not like that shot, and it was a little too experimental for me. However, there's a film, I think that the film was very tightly written. I think it was very fast-paced. Even though the film is 2 hours, 20 minutes, I think it kind of flies by because of how the amount of stuff that's going on. Because it's from scene to scene to scene to scene. It doesn't really take its time too often, right? It's usually jumping from scene to scene, which is not a problem. Usually in a crime thriller like this, you kind of want it to have a steady pace. Which I can appreciate. And obviously there was, most crime films, or at least most crime films that I've seen recently, there's always the cat and mouse game, right, where Chris Hemsworth was being tailed and, tracked down by Mark Ruffalo's character, who, his whole department didn't believe in him, and they were, kind of crooked, right? And he, was, by the book. He was a really straight cop. He's I need to do this. I'm going to do it right, that kind of cop. And he was, trying to, take this jewel thief down, because he was the only one who believed it was actually him. Nobody's oh, that's ridiculous. You're not giving us real, numbers. We need real things to give to the station, right? But he believed, and it eventually worked out, of course. In a way. And there was also Halle Berry's character, who was an insurance consultant, and she was a woman in a man's business. And of course, her job, the people at her job, just didn't like her, right? And they didn't, I mean, literally, they just straight up basically disrespect her at every chance they get, right? They don't give her an ounce of respect. I mean, honestly, they just treat her like she's expendable, even though she had been in the company for like 11 years. You know, they kept saying, "Oh, dude, just wait till the next January. You know, you'll like get a good telling her about a promotion and this and that." And essentially, what I'm trying to say is she wasn't appreciated like whatsoever. So of course, that's transitioned to Chris Hemsworth character where she helps him with a score on the insurance company that she was employed to because she had a bit of a grudge on them because they were assholes, right? And they didn't like her. So then Chris Hemsworth is this really professional heister. He's this thief who he does basically also kind of he's similar to Mark Ruffalo's character in a way because he does everything by the book. He does everything as cleanly as possible. He doesn't fire any shots. He doesn't hurt anybody. He's like in and out, in and out. He gets the package and then he leaves, right? And as I said, he doesn't hurt anyone, and he doesn't really. I mean, he makes threats, right? But he doesn't really I guess he's more passive. If robbing somebody can be passive, which not really, but I guess in a way. Either way, all these three main characters, main protagonists, their stories all intertwine and link, right? Because of course, Halle Berry doesn't really have much to do with the Chris Hemsworth Mark Ruffalo thing at first, but then of course she links up with him, and they start working together on this score that he's trying to pull against her insurance company, like I said earlier. And then there's Barry Keoghan's character, who I haven't even mentioned yet, who is essentially the biggest dumbass ever. He's he's not even close to being a professional. He's as amateur a thief as you can get. Dude is as sloppy as he can get. He's basically just some street thug, right? That is just I'm gonna just go in guns blazing. I'm just gonna he's basically all brawn, no brains, right? He just runs in with a gun and starts yelling at people and dragging people around and barking at them to do this and that. And it's just really sloppy, right? It's just very not great. His scores are the exact opposite of Chris Hemsworth's. And even when he does scores, he's a loose cannon, right? He seems on edge all the time, especially when he does his scores. He seems really calculated, but then when he actually is trying to carry it out, he's super on edge the entire time, which I guess I get it. You're pointing guns at people, maybe people are pointing guns at you. That's a little nerve-wracking, I guess. Well, not I guess, it is pretty nerve-wracking. But either way, he wasn't a very professional thief, and he paid for it in the end. But also, I think Barry Keoghan did a good job. I like Barry Keoghan. But all the actors did a good job in this movie. But him particularly with his very, I guess, erratic? Is that the word? Yeah, he was crazy. So I'm just going to say he was a nutcase, I guess. Barry Keoghan was very good at playing a nutcase, thug, who just, was just a loose cannon, basically. He was good at doing that. But also, again, at the same time, I have praised this movie. I do think it's an enjoyable film. I did enjoy it. But I feel maybe it's just because I've been watching a lot of crime movies recently. Maybe if I hadn't been watching as many crime movies, maybe I wouldn't have thought this. But I just think it's it's a good movie, but I think it doesn't really offer anything that any other crime movie doesn't also offer, right? I think it is a good movie, but overall I think it is kind of generic when you look at other crime movies. And again, maybe that's not necessarily a problem. If you're just wanting to watch a thrilling, action-packed crime movie, this movie has that and it does it pretty well. So maybe it being generic doesn't matter to you, right? And it doesn't even really matter that much to me. I'm just saying it's not that noteworthy. And maybe if you want to see something a little more, I guess, exotic, maybe if you catch my drift, maybe you could look elsewhere. Even then, but if you don't care about that and you just want to watch a crime movie, then that's fine. And it offers that. Well, would I recommend this film? Well, I guess I kind of recommended it earlier, but I guess it kind of depends. Are you looking for a kind of by the numbers but well-made crime movie? I think this is for you. But as I said, if you're looking for something a little more outside the box, something a little more unorthodox, hey, that rhymed, then this is not exactly your style. But again, if you don't care about that, go bombs away, knock yourself out. It's pretty well made. And with that being said, what would I rate this film, you might ask? Well, I think I would rate this film a 7 out of 10. And, yeah, I think I have 7 out of 10 to say. I think I've said my piece. So, guys, I hope you like this video. Share it with friends. Subscribe. Turn those notifications on. Comment down below on how much you liked it. But you guys know how it goes. I didn't really mean to say that. What I really meant to say. So if you guys hated this video, unsubscribe, dislike, and tell me how much you hate me in the comments. And I forgot to wear my fucking hat. Forgot to wear my hat. You didn't tell me. You should have told me. You viewer watching, how could you let this happen? How could you let this happen? I didn't even wear my hat. I've been running Time HD off to pull a score. I'm taking off the hat that I just put on. Ugh. I can't believe I forgot my hat. Fuck. You know, so I was watching this movie, right? And Barry Keoghan plays like the sloppy thief in the movie, and there's like a point in the movie where I'm like, there's no way that this guy would be able to get away, like be able to do the stuff he was doing for as long as I assume he was doing it, because he was just such an idiot, like flubbing everything, like basically everything he did in the movie. He was really sloppy and really stupid, and I'm like, it kind of broke my suspension of disbelief, because I'm like, I get that it has to be like the movie and such, but he was just such a dumbass. I was astonished that the cops hadn't caught him before that, and it was just kind of entertaining in that aspect, though. I don't know. It was